All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott, formerly of Rankin Technical College, and as part of my YouTube channel, which you can see up on the screen right now, JPS-Jeff Teaches Programming. If you go out there right now, you go out to the URL above it, you will find one YouTube playlist, that being Jeff Teaches Programming-Python. And what I have done in there, just so you know if you care, is I started by going over just some regular Python stuff, let's say. Okay? And then we went over the keywords in Python. Then I started writing some procedural programs where I wrote, I can see that that's spelled wrong, a calculator in a guessing game. Okay? From there, we went on and we started writing some payroll programs, a BMI program and some payroll programs. We wrote those payroll programs utilizing the basic data structures in Python, those being lists, tuples, sets, and dictionaries. Then I went back and rewrote those using object orientation. All right, and now I'm up into files. And so far in files, I have written a random number file program in a non-object oriented way and went back and wrote it in an object oriented way. But if you look in here, what you'll notice is there's nothing in here right now. Nothing in here in the bank file OOP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my Python OOP bank, and I'm going to find this thing that says OOP inheritance. Now I'm going to grab all these files, not the cache file, but everything else. I'm going to copy it to the clipboard. I'm going to go back into my Python files, bank file OOP, and I'm going to paste that in. So now what's in there, it basically is I've got a clone, for lack of better words. All right, I've got a clone of what I did earlier. Just to prove that to you, I'm going to open up bank file OOP right now in Visual Studio Code. And once it's open, I'm going to bring up the main.py. All right, and I'm going to run the program. And the output's going to appear here, and there it is. It's the same stuff that I showed you before. All right? Okay. That's all fine. That's all dandy. Not a problem. All right. And to be honest with you, I want to grab this because I'm still kind of going to be doing the same thing. All right. So I'm going to grab that. But I'm going to close this main now. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. I'm going to write a banking system. So I'm going to create a new file right here that's called banking system.py. All right, and the first thing I'm going to do is to paste this in. So I've got the same comment that I had in there earlier. All right, nothing new right there. But what I want to do in here is, for lack of better words, all right, for lack of better words, what I'd like to do is do some refactoring in this program. All right, I'm going to do some reorganization, and I'm going to set it up a little bit differently. Do I have to do that? Of course not. It works fine the way it is. And I could make it work with files the way that it is. But I'm going to write it in a different way just to show you that, for lack of better words, it can be done. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do in here is, and I didn't add this, but I will right now, and that is, I'm going to do this. I'm going to add a bunch of these things. So, okay, why am I doing that? Well, what I want to do is I'm breaking up the program into different areas. And the first thing I'm going to put in up here, this will be another comment, but I'm going to put in https://docs.python.org/3/library/abc.html. Why am I doing that? because I want to put in this line right here. From ABC, import ABC and abstract method. And the reason that I'm putting that in, they're gray right now because they're not being used, but they will start to be used in just a bit. All right, I'm going to put in one more of these. Something tells me I'm going to need one more, but I don't know for sure. There. All right. Again, ABC basically is going to allow me to create the abstract base class. All right. So everything that's in here, if you remember, the way this was set up before, we had bank account, and then we had a savings account that was a child of bank account. We had checking account, which was a child of bank account, and we had Christmas club account that was a child of bank account. We're going to still do that, but just to show you that it can be done, I'm going to put all this stuff into the same file. So this will be the bank account class. All right, when we get done with that, right below this, we're going to create, and it doesn't matter the order in which, of course, we put these classes, but second, let's put in the checking account class. Then underneath that, we're going to put in the savings account class. And underneath that, we're going to put in the Christmas club account class. Now, there's no code in there yet, but I'm just putting these in there to delineate so you can see what's going on. All right, so let's start with the bank account class. So I'm going to say class bank account, and guess what? I didn't do this before, but this is going to inherit from that same ABC that you see above. All right. Now remember, this is basically set up as an abstract class with abstract methods. So I'll have the equivalent of my constructor here. And I'm going to say def init def underscore underscore init underscore underscore self, and we have the account holder. Let's call it owner this time. You don't have to, but let's do that. And balance. All right. Going to be pretty simple as far as this method is going to say self dot owner equals owner and self dot balance, and that's going to equal balance. So in other words, the parent class is going to be responsible for handling the information about who owns the account and what their balance is. All right, now I'm going to create 3 abstract methods. And I can put here abstract method, and I can do that because I imported it from ABC. So we're going to start with def. We'll have check balance, self, and we don't want to do that here. We want to do that in each one of our child classes. So I'm just going to put pass here, meaning we'll write it later. All right. Then let's do the same thing, but this will be deposit with self and pass. And finally, all right, we'll do another abstract method. And this will be withdraw, self, and pass. All right. And the last thing that we'll put in here is transfer. Now, I just want you to see something. If you look at this, I've got the word owner, where previously I had account holder, but I've got owner in there. Then I've got an abstract method for check balance, an abstract method for deposit, and an abstract method for withdrawal. And I'm showing you that because if I bring up the bank account that I had earlier, wow, that looks pretty similar because it is. All right, the only one that's left here, and I'm going to grab that and just steal it from here, is transfer. All right, that's the only one that I've got to play with, for lack of better words here. So let's bring that in. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder here, and I'm going to call it old. And I'm going to, as I get done with these things, I'm going to put them in there. So the first thing I'm going to do is inside of old here. Okay. Now, I don't know, that may have changed some stuff that we have in our banking system file. I don't think it did, but it may have. Okay, I don't see where there's any changes. All right, so the only method in here that I'm actually implementing is a transfer method. And that is the amount I want to transfer and where I want to transfer it to. If I've got that much in there, I'm just going to do the transfer. Now, what I should do in here is I should check, because if I do the withdraw and it leaves me less than the minimum balance, all right, I shouldn't allow that to happen. So, does this much money exist in the account? All right, so what I really should put in here is, will withdrawing from this account result in less than the minimum balance? All right. And I'm not making that check. I'm just going to leave this the way it is. I'm just going to say withdraw, and we're going to withdraw it. All right. If we didn't have that much in there, we wouldn't allow it to happen. All right. And I'm going to put in here just the truth. So this check was not made in this method, although it should have been. Okay. Now that's everything. That is everything. Everything that's in the bank account class now. All right. Now next was checking account. So we've done bank account. Let's go down to checking account. And I'm going to do something. I'm not going to say that this is exactly magical, but for lack of better words, let's call it that. So I'm going to go to checking account here. I don't need this import anymore. And I'm going to go and grab everything that's in here. I'm going to remove some of it because I don't need it anymore. All right. But I'm going to copy that, go back to my banking system, and paste that in. Okay. All right. Now, a couple things. First of all, since it's in the same file, I can just say bank account. Kind of nice. Got my minimum balance. Guess what? I don't need these constructors. I can go right into my check balance, followed by, because remember, I have to overwrite that one because it was set up as a pass before. So the checking account balance, same with deposit. I have to verify that the amount is positive. All right. And same with withdrawal. Those were all set up as passes. Okay. So that's everything. So now I have gone through and I've done my checking account. Do I want to say the changes? No. Okay. But what I can do in here is I can grab checking account and I can throw that into old. Okay. Now let's go to savings account and let's do the same thing. So let's grab everything out of savings account. Copy that to the clipboard. Go back to my banking system. And now we're under or in savings account. And again, a couple things, couple changes we have to make. No BA dot, just bank account. And we no longer need a constructor. Okay. Again, there's our check balance with savings account. There's our deposit with savings account. There's our withdrawal with savings account. All right. And now let's close savings account. Yeah, I don't need to save that, but let's throw that into old also. All right. Finally, in our banking system, let's go down to checking account. All right. We don't need this main right now here anymore. We're going to look at it. Well, let's just leave it. So let's cancel that. This bank account, we can close that. And bank account is already in old. So the only thing we have left in here is main, our banking system, and our Christmas club. All right, well, let's do the Christmas club now. Again, we'll bring the whole thing in just like we've been doing. Let's copy that in, bring that into here. Again, we don't need the BA dot in here because it's all in the same file, and we don't need a constructor. So that's done. Again, check balance for Christmas club, deposit for Christmas club, withdrawal for Christmas club. Okay, so those are all done. I haven't saved in a bit, so let's do a file, save on our banking system. Now, Christmas club we don't need anymore, so I don't have to save that either. But the Christmas club, let's put that into old. So the only thing now that I have in here is my banking system, which is all complete and it's not showing me any errors, and main. All right. Well, what I want to do right now is I want to grab main. All right. I want to grab main, and I want to grab some of the stuff from main. Okay. If you say I don't understand, bear with me for a second. We're going to go and create another file here. This is going to be called input, but it's not a Python file. Input.txt. All right, and we're going to grab some of the stuff that was in main here. In fact, we're going to grab all of this stuff. Everything that was in here. All right, so let's go into input.txt. I'm going to hit enter a couple times, and then let's paste it in. All right, now, to my knowledge, I don't need main anymore. So I'm not going to save that, but I'm going to throw main up into old as well and close old. So now I've only got two files here. So I've refactored, so all my classes are together in the same file. So I've got bankingsystem.py and I've got input.txt. Believe it or not, we're almost done. There's only a couple things we have to do here. First is I want to come up on the top and I want to import banking system as BS. All right, no joke intended there. Now this CA dot, all those CA dots should now be BS. All those essays should be BS. I'm grabbing them all from the banking system. All these CCAs should be BS. All right, so all those are done. So what else has got to change in here? Well, right now, notice I'm printing to the screen. All right, I don't want to print to the screen. I want to print to an output file. Now, I'm going to have to go back in just a minute to bankingsystem.py and add another method, maybe about a total of about 10 or 12 lines of code. But what I'm going to change in here is everywhere I've written the word print, so everywhere I've got the word print, I'm going to change it to outfile.write, meaning what I want to do is I want to write this stuff to a file. So let's do an edit replace, and we're going to replace find print and replace print with outfile.write. Notice it's in 28 places. So there they are. Now, one more thing that I want to do in here is every time I'm doing an outFile.write, okay, like this, I'm going to have to make changes. Okay, and what I mean is I'm going to have to go back, and I'm going to do this quite a few times. F-string, \n, and then put this in curly braces. Do I have to do this? The answer is no, but if I don't, it's going to be almost a nightmare as far as the way it's going to look on the screen when I open up the file. So this is going to pretty it up quite a bit. Okay. All right, let me copy all that. Let me just do it like this, okay? So everywhere I've got these write statements, I've got to make this change. And again, do I have to make the change? I do if I want to be able to read the file when I open it. Otherwise, it's going to look so terrible, I won't be able to do this. And I'm going to have to go back and change at the end. I'm going to have to close all these, which are not being closed right now. We'll do that in just a minute. And I'm hoping once we do this, we're going to run back to our banking system.py file, make a change to that, and hopefully once we do that, we'll be done. All right, now I've got to add this to each one of these. Again, all I'm doing here is some aesthetic formatting. That's it. Now, after I make these changes, if I run this, guess what? It is not going to work. Right now, there really hasn't been a line of communication set up between the program, which is bankingsystem.py, and this input.txt file. Hopefully I put them all in there and didn't miss any. We'll find out in just a minute, okay? So let's do a file, save all. I'm not going to run it. Instead, I'm going to go over to my banking system program here, and I'm going to go down to the very bottom. There's the Christmas Club, okay? And in here, I'm going to add something. And this thing that I'm about to add does not belong to any class. All right? This is where I'm going to establish the communication. And let's put that in there. Establish the line of communication between the Python banking system. Whoops. Come on, Jeff. .py file and the input.txt file. So that's what I'm doing here. All right. So let's define this. It's going to allow us to perform our operations. So that's what I called it. Perform operations. And I'm going to have an input file, and I'm going to have an output file. All right. So with open, I want to open the input file, and I want to open it up with read permission. Should make sense. And I'm going to give it a name. We'll call it in file. Could call it input file. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we could do here, but I'm already using input file there, so I'm going to refer to it as in file. All right, and I want to go on to the next line, so I'm putting that backslash at the end. Otherwise, I'd put this all on one line, but then it's going to run off the screen. It's going to be harder for you to see. I'm going to have output file. I'm going to open that up with write permission. Oops. As, again, let's just call it out file. All right. So you can see exactly here in file and out file. Now I'm going to tell it here to exec in file.read. So I'm telling it to execute that and to go through the program and find any global variables and any local variables, and for lack of better words, resolve those. All right. Then finally, what we have been doing in the past, I'm going to change this, but what we have been doing in the past is we've been doing this. We've been saying if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equal underscore underscore main underscore underscore. If that's the case, we have been calling main. We don't have a main anymore, so we're not going to call that. What we are going to call is what we just wrote right up above, and that is perform operations. And we're going to give it the file input.txt, which is this file right here. And we're going to give it another file that we want the program to create for us. This is that out file right there. And that is going to be output.txt. Now, if I didn't make any mistakes, I've already got this out there on the system. This is already out there, and I'm just kind of redoing it again. I had some problems, some technical problems with the tape the first time, so I'm redoing it here. All right. And my time, oh, that's no problem at all. So let's save this. All right. And let's go over to where we're in bank file. So let's run it, see what happens. Again, I might get some errors. You see I've got errors. It's fine. We'll fix it. I still have account holder in there. Okay. So I'll have to fix that. All right. So checking account has no account holder, so I'll have to fix that one. Okay. So let's go back into here. You can see some of it's already working. All right. Maybe it's not, but we'll find it. Just give me a second here. All right, so let's go in here. And remember, we changed this from account owner to account holder, rather. I think we changed it to owner, didn't we? Yep, to owner. All right. So let's replace account holder. Oh yeah, and that's in there 9 times. We're going to replace it with owner. Let's replace all of them. Okay. Let's go back in and do a file, save all. Let's go back into here and let's clean this out and clear our screen. All righty. And then let's run this again. Again, there may still be an error or two, and if there are, we'll try to fix them. Oh, look at that. Deposited. This is all the print statements that we have in here. Okay. Did we create a file called output.txt? Well, there it is. And here it is. It's all there. Now, I can pretty it up a little bit, so let's get rid of it. Let's go back to here and delete that file. All right, it's gone. Where we're writing it, which is in here, every time we're doing a new one of these. So let's see, let's go to the top. Okay, we've got here, there's the instantiates. There's the Christmas Club. I could get rid of that. Okay, let's go back into here and pretty this up a little bit. Okay, we do want that here. Okay. All right. This one's fine. Every time we do a new one in here, we're going to put in 2\ns. Again, I'm just being aesthetically pleasing here, or trying to be. Okay, now I might have missed one. Let's see. That one's got 2. That one's got 2. 3, 4, 5, and that one only need 1 for. So let's run it again. File, save all. Go back to here and let's run it again. Again, those are all our right statements. We could pretty that up as well. That's fine. But let's go over to output.txt. And there you see I prettied it up. So there's checking account example 1 and 3, savings account examples 2 and 3, Christmas club examples 1 and 2. It's the same output that you're going to see. All right. But now I'm writing it out to a file. And I'm writing it out to a file as opposed to, all right, putting it on screen. I still have my print statements on screen as well. I left those in there rather than writing those out to a file. Probably could have done that too. I didn't want to take the time to even go over that. All right. So that's everything. So what I'm going to do, even though I've got this out there already, I'm going to I'm going to go back out. So now, there it is. Just finished it. All right. I don't even need this old folder anymore, so let's delete it. I mean, it's superfluous to put that there. So let's go in our bank file. All right. Now in our Python files, I'm going to go and bring up git bash here. And I'm just going to update the repository. All right, so git add dot git commit -m all Python file program examples, including updated bank file OOP. Okay, there's that. All righty, and let's do a git push -user origin master. Looks like it all worked okay. Let's quickly jump into here and go into github.com. And I'm going to go and find Python files. There it is. Notice that the OOP was just updated. The other ones were already in there. All right, but I've just updated them. So as it says, all Python program examples, including updated bank file OOP. All right, if you're interested in copying that repo, it exists right there under github.com/jpscottrankin/Python files. I hope you got something out of this. And again, my next foray or my next dive into here is going to be into databases. We're going to do this one a little bit differently in that I'm going to talk about databases probably for a couple lectures, at least one, maybe two. Then we're going to create a couple very, very simple programs that aren't going to have anything to do with object-oriented programming or anything else. But I hope to be able to go back and either use the bank example or the employee example that I did before, one or the other, or maybe both, who knows, and incorporate those using databases. And I will also tell you, give you a little window into my world here, that I'm looking at this. All right. And I'm going to put this out there just so everybody who has an interest in it can see it. So let me move this down. All right. And we will make this smaller because otherwise it's going to go right off the page. Maybe it won't. We got this. All right. And what is that? It's this right here. It's about 30 minutes long. And as you can see, it is called Python SQLite Tutorial, Complete Overview, Creating a Database Table and Running Queries. There is the YouTube one. The other one I'm looking at in here, and I've actually taken courses. This is John Elder, and I've taken courses with Mr. Elder. But one of his courses, somebody actually put out there. All right. And the second one then is here. Let's move it right up here. SQLite Databases with Python Full Course. And that will be right there. All right. So that's what I'm doing right now. I have completed about half of this one. I'm going to go back. This is about 30 minutes, 29:48 or 29:46. This is over an hour. So I'm going to be watching those. And hopefully this weekend, I'll put a few more videos out there. And these videos will be Python database oriented videos. Once I get those finished, what I want to do is to go back, take a step backward, and talk about how to write Python and have Python GUIs, or graphical user interface programs. And we might go back and rewrite some of the programs we've done previously and do those in a GUI type of way. All right. So database is next, then some GUI. Then the plan after that, all right, is to go in and start talking about how you can use Python to create websites. All right, and that'll bring this whole thing to a close. What I am hoping to do after this, I have not mentioned this before, but I'm going to quickly say it right now. What I'm hoping to do when I get done with all of this is to create a couple more courses. All right, and for lack of better words, all right, those courses are going to be more advanced stuff where we might go into machine learning, AI, etc. All right, so that's all that I have. Thanks for watching, and I'll be talking to you soon.